Hi, welcome to the lesson on the Cartesian coordinate plane and introduction. So, I would like to start off by asking, what is a coordinate plane? Well, you're taking a look at it here right now. It's actually a rectangular plane used to locate or plot points, as well as lines and graphs. But in this lesson, we'll focus on plotting and locating points. All right, so take a look here. We have a horizontal line, which is your x-axis, and then we have your y-axis, which is your vertical line here. All right, and the coordinates origin, which is right here, is at 0, 0. Now, I usually refer to this as a point of reference because this is where we begin our counting from. All right, and more on that in a moment. Now, the x-axis as well as the y-axis is known as axes. Okay, so that's plural for axis. So just a tidbit of information right there as well. And the axes is what separates the coordinate plane into four quadrants. So if you take a look here, we have the first quadrant, second, third, and fourth, and they are represented by Roman numerals. And notice how they're in a counterclockwise manner. Okay, so that's represented, or I usually would write at the top the letter C to help me recall that it starts from here. Okay, counterclockwise. All right, so now a point such as this one here, we have 4, 2, is called an ordered pair, but they're also the plane's coordinates, right? So you'll hear me refer to, say for instance, the 4 as the x coordinate, right? And the 2 as the y coordinate. And the x is, of course, the x coordinate, which is what you can see here in everything, right? Those are all the first numbers. And of course, your y coordinates are the second numbers, all right? So just to make that clear. Okay, so now what we're going to do now is use this grid to find the ordered pair for each point that we have listed here, okay? And so we're going to start on the x-axis, which is this horizontal line here, and we're going to start moving from there, and then we'll move up or downward to on the y-axis as needed. Okay, so let's go ahead and show this in action. All right, so here we have the point 4, 2. All right, so we're going to begin at our origin 0, 0. And since it's a positive number, we're going to move to the right on the x-axis. All right, so now from there, we're going to move up to, and this is where we plot our point. Okay, so this is the point 4, 2. All right, so what about -3, +2? Well, if you start at the x-axis here or at the origin on the x-axis, you're going to move to -3, which is here. All right, and since our y value is a +2, we're going to move up to 2. Okay, and notice I'm skip counting, so it looks like I'm only moving one space away, but it's really 2 since I'm skip counting. Okay, all right, and let's take a look at -6, -4. Okay, so -6 is here on the x-axis, right? And we moved to the left from 0, right? And we're going to move down to -4 because it's the y-axis going downward where the negative numbers are located. And we're going to plot right here. So this is point -6, -4. And then if you come over here, we have the point 3, 0. So be very careful with this. So our x coordinate is 3, which is here. And notice our y value is 0. So it doesn't move up or down. It just stays stationary right here. All right, so now let's go ahead and determine which quadrant these points that we just plotted are located. So if you'll take a look at the first quadrant, we have the point 4, 2, right? So remember, we have 4 here, we moved up 2. So of course, this is located in the first quadrant. And notice how both numbers are positive. So that means in your first quadrant, you'll always have positive values. Okay, so we have a positive x, positive y. Okay, so now let's go over to the second quadrant. And this is where we've plotted the point -3, 2, right? So we moved over, moved up. And this is located in the second quadrant. And second quadrants will always have negative x values and positive y values. Okay, moving down to quadrant 3, which is where we've plotted -6, -4. Well, this contains negative values. So we have negative x values as well as negative y values. All right, and in the fourth quadrant, these are our values that are positive and negative. So the x values will always be positive, y values will always be negative. And see, we don't have anything plotted in this quadrant, but as you can tell, we have the x values that are positive and the y values that are negative. Okay, so now knowing what we know, in which quadrant is 3, 0? Well, it's located in neither quadrant, right? So it's in between quadrants 1 and 4. Okay, so now let's go ahead and determine what these points are that are represented by letters. So let's go ahead and start with A. So if we take a look, let's start from the origin, and if we move over, so this is 3, all right, and if we move up, is at 2. So 3, 2 is our point for A. And notice that both numbers are positive, our x coordinate as well as the y coordinate. All right, so what about, or let's go to B. So what about B? Well, if you take a look, if you move over, so it's at -5, -6. All right, so notice the point is -5, -6. So do you see that here where both coordinates are represented by negative numbers? Okay, so what about C? So C is, let's see, along the x-axis we have 6, and if we go up, it's 6. So notice both coordinates are positive. All right, so what about D? So if we take a look, we're at the origin, we'll move over to the left on the x-axis. It's at -3 and 4. So -3, 4 is the point for D. -3, 4. All right, so, and like I said, this ordered pair of 3, 0 is not in either quadrant, so just make sure you understand that. And then, of course, the ordered pair 4, 2 is located in this first quadrant, and -3, 2 in the second quadrant. And last but not least, -6, -4 is located in your third quadrant. And we don't have anything located in the fourth quadrant. All right, so that's all we have for this lesson. I hope it was helpful, and I look forward to working with you in the next lesson. Take care.